Hello and welcome. The Republicans have walked straight into the trap set by RBG as they rush towards the Supreme Court nomination. But the even bigger question is, will Democrats return the favor? The Supreme Court seat has long been a favorite issue for Republicans to have. It helps them to fire up the conservative side within their base. But RBG is not like any other justice. She is looked up as a beacon from the left and an icon from the center. Even some, may not all, but certainly some in the ideologically opposite spectrum respect her. Anton Scalia is a great example for that respect. Now, here is the problem I see for the Republicans. How many additional votes will Trump and vulnerable GOP senators will gain over and above the support they already have due to this? How much will you gain and how much will you lose? The Republicans mostly avoid falling into policy traps as they firmly keep their eyes on the win. The Democrats write big policy proposals and tie themselves up in knots with them. Then Republican consultants and ad makers will pick up 4 or 5 sentences from a 1,000 page or a 5,000 page document and scare the whatever out of people and win. The nomination to the Supreme Court is as good as a policy document worth hundreds of thousands of pages. The Democrats will only need 5 sentences out of it to swing voters on the edge of the Republican Party to the other side. Voters who truly believe the need for a conservative bench are already voting for the president and the Republican Party. Only 29% of people across United States want Roe and Wade to be overturned, and they are very well embedded inside the 30 to 33% support base the president has enjoyed throughout his presidency. So where are the gains going to come from? How much room does Trump have within the evangelical religious support to improve? He already has 6 out of 10 evangelical voters supporting him in this election. He can move that up to maybe 7 out of 10. But how much that movement is going to cost? And I think there are two parts to that cost side. This is going to push white college educated women voters. Trump is already deeply underwater with them. They know because they can see that Biden has the pack the court option with him, but he is refusing to endorse it. That he is asking to de escalate things and he is pleading with Republican senators to reconsider. And they are watching. Wisconsin, white women with college degrees support Biden 56% to 42%. In Minnesota, the numbers are around 75%. Not just white college educated women, Trump is also doing badly with white non college educated women. If these numbers move further down for Trump, it will be a disaster. So, now the second part of this caste equation is the left. If this was not RBG, these voters, the left, would have either voted for a third party candidate or some would have just sat in their home, just like what they did in 2016. Now they are angry and they are already moving behind Biden. The more Republicans keep this topic on TV, the more they will trickle behind Biden and other Democratic races. If you want evidence, just look at the amount of money that was donated to Democratic candidates within 24 hours of RBG's death. That's the left making noise. In 2016, the left voted in high numbers, but they all voted for third party candidates. Votes for third party candidates was bigger than Trump's margin in Florida, Arizona, North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Michigan. All those states were battlegrounds in 2016 and they are battlegrounds in 2020 as well. At a maximum, Republicans may gain a percentage point in the popular vote from where they are right now. But some of those gains will be offset by the number of votes they will lose from white, college educated, and non college educated women as well. But the worst side effect will be instead of moving left votes away from Biden, it will do the exact opposite. It will accumulate their votes for Biden and Democratic Senate candidates. The left is not going to pour all the money into these races and not vote for those candidates. That's not going to happen. And due to the availability of the nuclear option, even if the Republicans fill the seat before the election, they are not going to give up the fight. It will pour even more fuel into their desire to fight even more. Now, is there a way for Democrats to blow this up? I wasn't really happy with the way the Kavanaugh hearings went through. They were over the top and could have done a lot better than what they did. And before anyone point fingers at the Benghazi hearings, I wasn't happy with that either. We did so much TV for these things, and none of these senators seem to be worried about the number of American families that are plunging in chaos every few minutes. So I don't think Democrats will blow things up this time because they have a leader and it's Joe Biden and he has already set the agenda. And there is not a lot of room for them to move from there. So let me try and rephrase the whole thing. The issue of conservative bench and abortion is a better problem for Trump to have. He would rather talk about Supreme Court instead of 200,000 families that lost someone to COVID or a national strategy to save Americans. Yes, it's a better problem from the optics standpoint, but it's an absolute disaster from the number of votes standpoint. How many votes will he gain more than what he already has by taking this route? A little. How many votes will he lose more than what he already lost to Biden? Possibly a little. But how many votes he will move behind Biden from the voting for no one column? Hundreds of thousands in the battleground states. If Biden manages to tie this issue successfully with the Affordable Care Act, then this is going to be a complete rout. This is not a winning hand for Republicans. The key numbers we need to keep an eye on are evangelical and Catholic votes, and we need to look at how much it moves higher for Trump. White college educated women and women vote in overall, how much it moves lower for Trump, and how the undecideds drop. It's around 10 to 15% across the country. So we need to see how much it drops from the level where it is right now. So this issue will kill any opportunity that Republicans already had in Arizona, Colorado, and Maine. I think it will also help Democrats in North Carolina, South Carolina, and maybe a bit in Iowa as well. So as I said, Dems messed up the Kavanaugh hearings, but the president and the Republicans thought they had won and did a victory lap, thinking that it will help them in the midterms, but they got crushed. It was a near blue wave that handed over the Congress to the Democrats. Now they are trying to repeat the same strategy again, and this can hand over the Senate and the presidency to the Democrats. And please do not underestimate the impact of Joe Biden on the party. He was not talking to Republicans, or not just talking to Republicans when he spoke about de escalation. He was talking to women across the country. Make no mistake, this is not a fight between Trump and Joe Biden, it's a fight between Joe Biden and Mitch McConnell. I don't think McConnell has overplayed his hand. He has done the best thing from his perspective till now to keep the topic at the top of national headlines. McConnell now has two options. He can either push the nominee before November 3rd or after November 3rd. He hasn't said which way he is going to go. What he will be looking for now is to get the hearings and allow the hearings to dominate the airwaves as long as possible so that it starts moving the needle in the Senate races. But I truly believe that he, just like everyone else, like Obama and Hillary Clinton did before him, continues to underestimate the Joe Biden factor. He did not plan for a can we please talk call from Joe Biden. Biden has moved his pawns into an extremely strategic position, while McConnell was expecting him to move his queen into the open board. The hearings will not go the Kavanaugh way. The Dems absolutely messed up the hearings then, but this time it will not go that way because Joe Biden is the one who will set the agenda. By booking the airwaves for his Senate races, McConnell may have sucked some air out of the coronavirus topic and given some breathing space for drowning Republican senators. But what he has also done is McConnell has now given Biden the best possible spotlight he can have as a presidential candidate. He will position himself perfectly as a centrist who wants to return the country to normalcy, a future president who will look beyond partisanship. With a simple move by calling for de escalation, Biden may have already killed or made a big hole into the radical leftist tag that the Republicans were trying so hard to attach him to. He made a complete mess of Trump's plan to get back suburban white women. That's not going to happen now. And do not forget that we have more than 30 million college educated women in the country's labor force, and the de escalation call was a direct message from Biden to them. And this will be the time for the race to generally tighten, but now I expect the race to either at the same level of gap between Trump and Biden, with a good possibility of Biden hitting the 50-51 mark consistently over the next 2 weeks. Hopefully, if he doesn't make a catastrophic mistake in the debates. So, for a tiny bit of chance to improve the odds to win 3 or 4 Senate seats, McConnell may have slammed the door on Trump's path to win. And Trump has no clue. Thanks for watching.